Hey everybody, this is Brian from Team Manabeast doing a deck profile on my Bermuda Triangles, specifically my Prism deck. This deck's been with me now for, like 6 months, and it's pretty much my main deck. It's what I use in all the big tournaments and what I went to regionals with. So far it's performed really well. I've gotten regionals in Texas, got 22nd place. And it's won me quite a few games here in town, and so I thought, well, I'll do a little deck profile, kind of shine the light on the secrets of the BT. So starting off, I've got my Bermuda Triangle Cadet Shizuku, which I know some people are going to say, well, why don't you run Koro? She's better because she's free bounce. I found that it's a good card. Koro is a great card. Two things. A lot of the big clans now are coming Kagros, and they retire this card, so when your grade 0 goes to the back, this goes away because they're going to retire it all the time. So I found this card to be better for a couple reasons. Koro is good, but this deck is very aggressive. And I found that if you're having to bounce back free a lot, you're going way too late game with this deck. I mean, you want to try to end things as quickly as possible, primarily at 3 or 4 damage. So I found that she's better for this deck because this deck pluses off of the break ride, and this also helps my opening hand a lot. I don't have to keep my 3s. I can throw them away, try to get more 2s and 1s, and also with a lot of my decks surrounded around calling units to the field, I'm going to need as many units as possible. So again, plussing with grade 3s and plussing with the draws off of those break rides is very, very important here. So start with her. She's amazing. She always does me real good, so start with her. Let's move on to the trigger lineup. We've got, of course, 4 heals because, well, heals OP. They're friggin' heals, so you gotta have them. And then we move on here to 4 draws. These are the Prism draws. What can I say? Prism draws, especially for the special counterblast. And then I have a total altogether of 8 crits. We have the 4 normal Prism version, and then of course we have the 4 non-Prism versions here. I've experimented a lot with this deck. I've gone 6-6, 6 draw, 6 crit. I've really gone back and forth a lot. I found this deck is very aggressive, and I also get draws off of what we'll go over later in the grade 3s, the Vert. So in essence, it's like I have draws in the deck without having draws. And again, this deck's more aggressive. I like the 8 crits. I like putting them in rear guards. Again, it just forces more guard, and it's more pressure-centric here. And of course, you don't run stands, because this is Prisms. And if you use stands and Prisms, you're nuts. So yeah, don't do it. Bad. And grade 1 lineups, we've got, 4 Perfect Guards, because Perfect Guard's OP. That's just it. I don't run 3, don't run 2, run 4. You got it, because there's going to be that turn where you're going to have her out, and you'll be like, oh, well, I don't have anything in my 1 but that, so I can ride it, call that to the back, and not feel bad, because I got 3 more in hand. So, yeah, definitely got to run 4 of those. The next grade 1, which is almost as important, is going to be this gal, PRISM-Image Clear, who is like, this is the game winner here, pretty much. Her ability is I can Soul Blast 1 when this unit is bounced back from hand from rear guard. I can pay the cost, which is Soul Blast 1. If I do, choose another one of my Bermuda Triangles, and that unit gets 4,000 until the end of turn. This is very, very important for this deck setup because as we'll go over here, and I'll talk about it later on when I talk about field setup, we don't have any fields that naturally hit above 20 or 21. So this card here is what's really going to be key to pumping our rear guards up. And also, they're in the back row here, so they're boosters, so they're not going to go away unless they're Kaguro and they're being, hose and blasting your field up. So yeah, she's a must. 4, I mean, there's no other. You gotta have 4. Gotta have 4. And then because we are an aggressive deck, we're going to put here 4 PRISM-Romance Mercure. She's our 10k attacker, 7k booster, 10k if we have a Prism Vanguard. Again, great for when your grade 2 start getting blown up. She's still good as a booster, and then, something's killed, boom, move her up to the front here. She's still a really good attack when boosted, and she can also hit other rear guards. So definitely a must there. And then we have two here of our special boosters. The PRISM-Promise Leyte. When this unit boosts a unit named PRISM-Promise Labrador, who's our boss monster, pay the cost, Soul Blast 1. Boost the unit gets 5,000 until the end of battle. So what's really cool is that it makes it a 22k row. And the other thing, just like all of our special boosters, doesn't have to be activated on Vanguard. So we can activate it on Rearguard here and also do dicking. So yeah, pretty good. All right, so let's go on to our Great 2 lineup. We're going to have here 4 of the 12k. The Grade 2, of course, we have a Prism Vanguard. This is a 12k instead of an 9k, which again, awesome. Hit good numbers by itself. And it's really good for our strategy later on. So, boom, 4. And then we have 4 of the 11k attackers. This one's the 8k, that's 11k if you have a Vanguard with Limit Break 4. This is used more for late game, especially if you don't have your grade, if you got a grade 2 out, or if you don't have anything else on the field, it really helps to pump that up to 11k. And then we have here 2 of the 10k beaters. I just like having these in here for the 10k body. They're really great to have. If you can ride this, it's probably the best ride you can get from your grade 1 to your 2. Because it's got a 10k body. It's really hard to hit. Even if they schmank you with your Vanguard that's an 11k, you can still guard really good and not have to worry about it. Plus, again, 10k. OP. You gotta have it. And then 2 of the PRISM-Promise Celtic. She's the same effect as the previously addressed clear. If we bounce her, we get to give +4 to any unit by Soul Blast 1. I only run 2 of her because she is much more susceptible here in the front row to attacks. That's why I have a total of 6 of these cards to run. Because if I can get 1 of them on the field, it's really good and it benefits. So I decided to put these in here because this, boosted by our friend Clear, can hit rows, and we can hit 16k with that row, which is really good. So, boop. All right, so let's get into our grade 3s here. Grade 3s, we're going to run here with 4 PRISM-Image Vert. She's the break ride for the BTs. In fact, the first break ride in the English meta. Her effect is at limit break 4. If you put another Bermuda Triangle over this one, the break ride, it gets +10k, you get to draw a card, and you get to bounce 2 units back. So this serves a couple purposes. This is great for getting us, of course, a +10. Gives us a +1 because we get to draw a card. And then as a bonus, you kind of have a couple strategies with this. This, of course, can be comboed with our friend Labrador when you're doing those big numbers. But it's also good if you have a field that's really full, or you're wanting to minimize the damage if you're going against an Narukami or Kagero. You can fix rows really nicely here. So you can bounce cards back that you need, fix rows, change things up, and it's really nice as you get from the early game attacking phase to the mid game to the late game. So just great, just great. Her other effect is during your turn, if you have 4 or more Bermuda Triangle rear guards, this gets a +2, so it's 13k attacker. So pretty good. And then the other grade 3, who's our boss monster here, is PRISM-Promise Labrador. Now, I only run 3, a couple reasons, because she's great on Vanguard, great on Rearguard, boosted by Leyte, but I found that I'd rather have these spaces that this other one card could inhabit, frankly, be inhabited by a grade 2 or a grade 1, that are interceptors, or they can call the field, because her power comes from when I call things to the field. If I'm not calling things to the field, then, well, it's kind of pointless. Her ability, Limit Break 4, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, I can choose up to, I have to choose up to 3 units with a Prism in a card name, call them from a hand, and call them to rear guards, separate rear guards, and they had to be open. And if you call 3 cards, this unit gets +10k and a crit until the end of the battle. Then her second ability is Counterblast 1 card. It's a special Counterblast. You have to Counterblast a Prism card in its name, and then I can choose a Prism card from my field and bounce it back up. So essentially how she goes, you put her on the field, and then once she's on the field, she does her thing, and then you start bouncing units back and get them into your hand. So a little bit of kind of the strategy behind this deck and how it works. It's pretty simple in its workings, but I kind of want to go over just a little bit of how I play it through. So now let's just say this is our field setup here. And then let's say we're at 4 damage as well, and kind of go through how this would work. So we're going to have Labrador. It's our turn, limit break. We're going to put Labrador right on the Vanguard circle. We are going to draw a card from our draw pile, and then we're going to bounce 2. So we're going to bounce this back into our hand, here, and we're going to bounce this back into our hand as well. Except we're going to do its special ability, which is Soul Blast 1. Boom, Soul Blast 1. And then we're going to give +4 to her. So now what that does is that makes what was normally just an 11k attacker a 15k attacker. Then we're going to swing with Labrador, leaving 1 rear guard circle full. And we're going to call 1. We're going to call 2. And then we're going to call 3. So, right after break right, if you look at how this goes, we've got a couple options here. Right now, we've got this Vanguard. Since we broke road, it gets +10k. And since after we broke road and we attacked, it gets another 10k because we called 3 rear guards. So it is 31k and 2 crits. Now this is really the good turn here because most of the time your opponent's going to be at 3 to 4 damage, usually. So now we've got a 31k and 2 crit. We've got this lady here at 15, boosted by a 7, so that's a 22k row. And then this here is our 19k, not as impressive a row. This row is what you'd be using to attack, say, a rear guard, say a 9k rear guard, so then you'd be able to hit them and they'd have to waste at least 15k. So this is great rows here, because that's going to be perfect guard, more than likely, or they're going to have to guard a whole bunch. And then you're going to throw your crit and your power over here, or maybe add power over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep going through over and over and doing this. And yeah, it's just a really great deck. Has been really consistent, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks. See ya.